Hello guys, can you guys hear me? I've just been fixing my Zoom because I joined with my second account. Um, sorry guys. So some people actually say that I sound like corpse husbands the other day, and I was laughing so hard. So sorry guys. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is my cat. Isn't that's actually Panther. Thank you. Okay, so guys, um, what I'm doing is I'm just a bit confused right now because I was just had a couple of plans. However, um, my Zoom just messed my timing a little bit because I kept joining my new videos. Oh, by the way, guys, I have a couple of announcements to make. So today is the final surgery. I'm going to try to become as quick as possible while covering all the content. So I'll tell you guys why my plan is for today. So today I will try to cover as much content. I won't do the Q&A until the very end, and you guys can watch. I can answer questions until until the very end, like at the end, and you guys can watch the recordings, so you don't actually have to stay here for the Q&A. I'll tell you a bit more. So some people are asking, um, basically, how long is each session? I'll just tell you guys a little bit. So have you guys noticed how each session lasts around 2 to 3 hours? Have you guys noticed this? Okay, so I'm actually only like supposed to do it for 1 hour. So the other 2 hours, I basically all my free time. I'm not doing this because I'm paid for it. I'm doing this for my own goodwill. So I'd appreciate because I'm only doing this for until like basically 3:30. But always overrun because I would like to help people. So I would like ask people to be considerate because from my point of view, I'm answering about 200 people at the same point for my free time. Um, and I have no problem with that. But some people being rude the other day about it on the Q&A. So I'm asking people to be considerate because it's my free time that I'm giving to you guys. I'm not supposed to do it for much longer. So yeah, please be considerate about that. As you know, technically I was meant to do this for an hour, but I love you guys, so I will keep going with this. We're going to start this pretty much now, but yeah, that was okay. So I was thinking about this, and I have two options. So we can start with the slides, or we can just go straight away, and I can check. I can show you guys. I can sort of live stream the platform if you guys want. So do you guys want me to just start covering the essay, or would you want me to show you the platform first, and then we can just do everything after? Because I had two options that I can do to you guys. Okay, that is perfect. Great. I will do the essay then. No worries at all. I'm just closing down a couple of files because I'm going to get murdered. Come on. I have some practice I have to just close on here. Oops. Whoopsie. Okay, guys. So in the meantime, who here wants to know more about the uni life because I can start answering some questions because I start uni. So I can also answer some questions on uni life if you guys want as well. So what kind of questions would you guys have about uni life as well? While I'm sorting this out. Okay, in terms of uni, I don't tell people the uni I go to. However, there's a couple of reasons for this. Is because, um, yeah, I do play video games. I play CS:GO mostly. I love CS:GO. I learned Russian because of the so здравствуйте for any of my Russian friends. Oh, привет, чувак for any of the Russian people. Yeah, yeah, I've actually learned. Like, I took Russian lessons as well just because of that. So just a fun fact. Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyways, I want to actually. I'm going to do something. Okay, so I'm going to go to Cambridge Assessment website and I'll just start sharing my screen. Cambridge Assessment BMAT. As I thought, let's make this as productive as possible. Ali, I see you. Oh dear. Okay, we're starting now. There we go. Right, so I'm just checking that everything on my save thing is family friendly. There we go. It's only a bunch of Chinese stuff at the top, so it's fine. Okay, can you guys see this? Can you guys see my screen? Perfect. Okay. Right. So I thought I'm going to start showing you guys how the platform is for this year because they haven't really done this. So we go to access papers and computer-based demonstration of the tests. So some of you have had questions about the computer tests. So I decided that should wait a little bit to do this one. So the way you do it is literally you do it exactly like I'm doing. So you start system checkout, demo. These are correct. You accept this because let's be honest, no one reads this. No one literally reads this. I accept these terms. No one reads them. Section, okay, it's perfect. I'm not particularly interested here. And then this is how it kind of works. So you have section 1. So you click, I'm going to this above here. Click next for the next problems. You solve a question. Okay, so for example, should the following best express the main conclusion above the above arguments? Actually, I'm not going to do this question because this is not like the. You can just finish once you're done. You finish the section. Yeah, I would like. Actually, let me just show you guys how we flag as well. So you flag here. So let's say you flag this question. Then I go until the very end. Let's say I go. You can scroll down. This if you can scroll down here is very slow. It's actually really slow. I don't like it. But that's the only con that I have about the platform. And then once you finished, I would like to finish the section. And then finish the section. I believe. But the flagging didn't go to its place. It's very odd. Okay, so you just go until the very end. As you guys can see, you have the questions about everything. You have to finish the section. Finish section. Section 3. Okay, so this is what we actually want to do for this session. So guys, some people think there isn't problem solving. There is problem solving this year. You guys talk about there is no data analysis. There is no data analysis. There is problem solving. Okay, so this is the section 3. Okay, so you'd have 3 essays. This is the point of the session now. Yeah, you can definitely flag and come back. There's a flagging thing here. Flag this question, as you guys can see over here. So it's definitely possible. Okay, guys. So as you guys can see, we have 3,000 questions. So we don't. You can. I'm not flagging section 3. I'm just. You can just flag. I don't think there are any keyboard shortcuts, but I haven't actually bothered to actually look at it. So you could probably try it, but I don't think they have the reason manual on that. There's a manual on it over here on this website. So you can probably, for people asking about the shortcuts, this document will probably ask you all about shortcuts. So let's, for example, flag. Let me just look at flagging. Keyboard shortcuts. Keyboards. Okay, so what about shortcuts? Shortcuts. Okay, I don't think there are any shortcuts for this. Yeah, I'll definitely. Oh, by the way, guys, I just wanted to say I'm going. Some people were asking when I'm going to start reading the videos for the YouTube channel. I'm going to walk through a paper, a full 2-hour paper on YouTube. I'm going to upload it next Monday or Tuesday, so it's going to be uploaded very soon, and I'll have basically all the tips that I've been teaching. So if you guys want to see how I walk over an entire channel, then you can check it out. Okay, so the way you do it is you I just created a bit.ly link for it /BMAT Martin, and you'll be redirected to my personal set webinar, which is not. It was just like a public webinar that I made for my subreddit. I look like I'm an absolute egg. I actually don't look like that. It's not. I look like an absolute egg. It was actually in partnership with 6 minutes. You can just subscribe, and you'll find other videos as well once you ring the notification bell. I actually have many videos. So like for the BMATs, I'm just like thinking of when I'm going to release them. Like as you guys can see, there's a 3-hour problem solving webinar. There's another 3 hours of another 3 hours of um, critical thinking. There's like 2 hours of essays. There's 2 hours or more essays. 2 hours or more essays. There's loads of them that I'm thinking of releasing. As you guys can see, there's loads of them. There's more to the other side as well. So yeah, there's loads of them for sure. I'll be posting. The things are already done. I'm just like, um, I'm looking like when I'm going to release them. I think of releasing them as soon as possible. But they're actually I'm trying to release them periodically. Uh, so yeah, they're like currently unlisted, but they will be available in the future. Hopefully next month, because I'm thinking of releasing more bite-sized ones as well. I'll be releasing a lot of them. So there's about 60 hours of content that I've made so far, or just on strategy. There's no content, just strategies. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff to we'll be able to see. So I definitely recommend it. I'll also be it's bit.ly/BMAT Martin. I'll also be doing interview stuff as well. So MMIs and I'll be doing MMIs and panel interviews. I'll probably even invite one of my friends that goes to Cambridge or Oxford, and we'll do a live tutorial or something like that, or maybe like an interview because I have loads of interview questions, etc. But yeah, okay. That is not the point of this thing here. So let's pick a question. Which one do you guys want me to do? Question 1, 2, or 3? Okay. There's a bunch of 1s and 3s. I'm just going to pick because this isn't working. Thank you guys. Okay. I'm going to do actually I'm thinking which one can actually be better answers. People are often motivated to deny the existence of problems to disagree with the solution of these problems. Interesting. I actually really like this. But the medicine one is probably the best one because this is medicine like webinar. So you might as well do medicine. I think this was actually my essay when I took my BMAT. Yeah, there we go. As you guys can see, there's a word count. Okay, so for example, okay, so you have a word limit. As you guys can see, word count here, and the word limit is 500. 500 words, at least from last year. Last year was 500 words. It might have changed this year, so I'm just going to double check this based on the instructions. Last year was 500. This year's 550. Okay, interesting. Okay. Last year when I did it was 500 words. This year appears to be 550. Okay, so some people are asking how long do you spend planning? Some people have done like 5 minutes of planning. Some people do 15 minutes of planning. Some people don't do planning at all. Okay, guys. So I'll tell you what. Okay, guys. As you guys probably know, I am very critical of how the BMAT is being taught currently by the industry. I'm very critical on this. So I'll tell you in this case what people would usually get taught and what I'll teach people. So you guys can compare and just pick the one that is most suitable for you. So yeah, this is where I'm going to start. So the structure that you have is usually okay. So there's actually 3 structures. I'm going to give you the generic one, my old structure, which is relatively an upgrade from the other one. Okay, so let's think about this. What is section 3 testing, guys? What is section 3 testing? There's a mark scheme over here somewhere, which I should be finding in a second now. For the mark scheme, let's try to find it. Where is it? Okay, that's a bit noisy, isn't it? Section 3. I'll probably just pause this and try to find it once. But I'm trying to find mark scheme. I can't find it. Okay. Okay, so English and content. Some people are also talking about how yeah. I feel like someone said I feel like it's better to have a better analysis shorter than just waffle. I completely agree. Okay, guys. So I've marked many essays beforehand. I've even written like some perfect 5A essays. So like they are like exactly 500 words. However, I'm wondering, what do you guys think is like the usual length of a 5A essay, a 4A essay, and a 3A essay? I'm just going to Google it because it should be over here. One sec. So for a 5A essay, I'll tell you guys, someone nailed it on the head. So for a 5A essay, sure, I'll plan the essay. And I'll probably even try to write some of it. Okay, so for the 5A essay, someone got 300 words and they got 5A. And this was actually in the BMAT itself. Prove it, I don't think I have the proof of it because I don't have the screenshot of the score. However, 300 was like, it's all about quantity over quality. Because the BMAT is being tested. Think about this. Okay, BMAT section 3 mark scheme. Okay, there we go. Marking criteria. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Guys, think about quality of contents. So you should consider, has the candidate organized their thoughts clearly, and have they addressed the question, and have they used their general knowledge appropriately? Yeah, quality over quantity. Oops, guys, sorry. I just tripped over my words. My apologies. My apologies. I just tripped over my words. Okay. Score 5. Okay, so can you guys please answer can you guys ask questions on the Q&A, because that's when I'll be able to see it, because I'm not gonna answer questions now because I want to make this as good as possible. So guys, I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm just trying to make this as time efficient as possible. So I will be ignoring the chat, the Q&A for a while, and I'll simply just be doing this over here. So that's all. Okay, so score 5, an excellent answer with no significant weaknesses. So this means that your essay is pretty good, to the very least. So all aspects of the session are addressed. So guys, let me see how many questions are actually being asked here. Let's think about this. How many questions is section 3? Just one question, or is it more? How many questions is it asking us to do? I'm not talking about question 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about in the individual question. So how many parts does this question have? Some people say it's 1, some people say it's 3. This question has 3 parts. So it's first question, explain the reasoning behind the statements. The second question is, argue that the skills of the surgeon are more important for surgical innovation or progress. And the third is, to what extent do you agree with the statements? So that's 3 parts. So you must be treating this as 3 different questions. And all of them should be taken different timings. Some people say intro, main body, and conclusion, which I don't particularly agree with. I don't think it's that simple. Okay, here gives the essay to the English teachers, because this was a big error that I myself did in the past. People that give them to English teachers, and I have nothing against English teachers. I love you. Well, I don't, because I hated Macbeth, but that's not the point. Yeah. So English teachers are more used to marking it like the way that GCSE would kind of mark it, per se. Whereas the BMAT is marked in a completely different way to most essays. So you need a couple of experience. Like, I feel like I'm not trying to promote anything or beef anyone, but from my personal opinion, I think that teachers from a school are not usually they are not qualified to mark these essays. So they'll be actually either underscoring you or overscoring you. I'm yet to see teachers, and I've worked with a couple of schools already. I'm yet to see any teacher that can actually give the exact score that like a completely accurate score. They usually give them too low or too high. If you give them too low, you'll discourage your students because they think like they're not as good as they think. If you become too harsh, then if you become too lenient, then you won't know if you're actually doing well, and you're going to have a big surprise in results day, so you can't improve. So yeah, I particularly don't like giving them to teachers because of this this little problem. Okay, so it's asking all aspects of the question I address. So all parts 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you get paper. However, some schools are very stingy with paper, so I recommend taking your own paper just in case. So take your own laptop or device and take your own paper. These are my 2 contingency plans, and take your own, take 4 or 5 pens just in case. I don't think you're allowed pencils and rubbers and anything else in. So I recommend taking a lot of stuff stationary to your test. So anyways, so 3 parts of the question. So we have part one, two, three. They all must be answered. Making excellent use of the material and generating an excellent counter proposition of the arguments. So what they're saying is, you need pens for like planning on paper, working out like. Also, you can work out your section one, section two, just paper, scrap paper. Some people don't. I feel bad for whoever schools let them like force them to use school computers because school computers usually have a lot of issues with timing. They were probably built like in the 1980s. I'm probably not exaggerating at this point. Pencils might be allowed, just bring everything and just because it depends on the test center. They're very very pedantic with us. It's all about the test center. But yeah. Okay, so let's think about this. What do you guys think it's saying by making excellent use of material and generating an excellent counter proposition of the argument? This all sounds very odd and vague. What do you guys think I mean by this? Let's try to analyze every single statement and let's think about what makes an essay good in the first place. Some people say balance, but I want a bit more than that. I want just a bit more. Okay, be concise. Yep. What are they referring to? Making excellent use of the material. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So and the argument is cogent. In other words, it's basically it all flows well. It's all very logical. Ideas are expressed in a clear and logical way. It's very important that you guys must understand everything because second exam. Exactly. Considering a breadth of relevant points leading to a compelling synthesis or conclusion. So you look at many different points, considering a breadth of points. So at least 2 points is ideal. I personally only use 1 point, but that's because I really go into a lot of depth with my points. So it makes up for it. I don't recommend using 1 point only, mostly because most people don't know how to, how to do this. So I don't particularly recommend doing this. I actually have a video where I walk over a couple of essays. You can't make up stuff, guys. If you make up information, you'll get 0. Your paper will get cancelled. You're gonna get this score here. Your paper will get cancelled. Because let's think about this. So this paper is testing your academic writing. Like this is an academic essay. For example, the same that you'd be writing it, for example, maybe Oxbridge, I'll say, mostly. So you do not ever make up stuff up because your argument will be invalid if you lied. Indeed, the exams get paid per hour, so they'll check everything. So please don't make up stuff up because they'll check everything. There's no point. I really hate stats because people don't know how to use them. Guys, if you're using someone else's data, you better, like, if you're wasting those precious characters to bring data in, you might as well, you better argue it very well. And most people don't know how to. Okay, so this is all that I wanted to show you guys. And now I'm going to start planning here. I'm actually going to start planning here. So there's a structure. And what's the first structure that companies usually give you? So they give you points, evidence, explanation, and maybe even link. So if you want to go for Peels or link to the question. Safa, if that information, I'm not sure how. The problem is, where would you use that information realistically? And the thing is, this essay is very philosophical. When would you use a 90% stats of reversing a heart attack? Like, even if it's true, when would that point ever be useful for something that shows high level thinking? Some people, I'd say most people answer the medical question, but it doesn't matter. It's all about which one you answer the best. Okay. Okay. So that's all. So explain the reason behind the statements. Okay. This is a structure that companies give, and I personally don't like it. Okay, I have a structure which I will not be using, and it's the best structure. However, I'll be using a structure that's a lot better than this. Okay, so let's think about this. What is section three testing? It's testing our logic skills, right? It's testing our ability to think logically, right, guys? Can some people just give me a thumbs up or something? Or so it's testing our ability to think logically. So why in the BMAT? Where have we also done logic? Let's think about this. Think about this. It all makes sense. Where else have you looked at logic beforehand? Section one. Exactly. No, not problem solving, please. Not problem solving. It's also about critical thinking in specifically. So why don't we actually use the same structure that someone would do for critical thinking? Wouldn't that make sense? Think about this. If they're testing your ability to write logically, why wouldn't you use the same structure that a BMAT exam would be used for critical thinking? It's the exact same thing. Both are academic essays, both are high-level thinking, both are very structured, cogent, and I would not recommend the Peel structure because of this, because it does not. It's very English and humanities based. And while philosophy would be humanities, this is not exactly the best structure for it. It's very difficult to get to flow. I would agree for sure. Instead, I have something else, which is okay. First things first. This is my structure. So I have three structures. I'll be giving you guys my old structure that I used in my own test myself in 2019 to 2020. It's not so for my students here. No, it's not the one that we've been looking at. However, this is also a lot. At least it's better than. Okay, so guys, I got in my first term I got 3.58. I've been getting 5 A's now though. So I also have a couple of example essays, which I've written. I am not sure if I'm allowed to show them here because it's not part of the scheduling and it's not an official material. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show it. But I've written entire. I just mark them. I mark my because I'm a professional tutor, so I mark a lot of my own essays and companies, and I know exactly what to look for. Sure. So if you're in the r/BMAT exam group chat on WhatsApp, I will be just going. I'll just use that. I'll probably just send over there. So if you want to join, you can just go to not Reddit. Reddit's dot oopsie /BMAT exam. You can go here. You look at the 21 WhatsApp group or the Medic Discords, and you can basically join both. This is the Discord link. This is the WhatsApp link. If you have a WhatsApp group chat, everything is free. This entire server is for helping serve for free. So yeah, guys, nothing here should be charged. If someone charges, report that post, please. Thank you. That is all. Anyways, it's on. I'll be posting on WhatsApp. But yeah, okay. So we have this here. This is structures I recommend. So explain the statements equals, rephrase it, but it's usually what they're looking for. If you rephrase something, that means you kind of understand what it's talking about. So you rephrase it, but extend on it and possibly bring in new ideas. Oh, it was Riza. I will have to update that then. I'm sorry. Join the Discord one instead. Oh yeah, because some people rated that, so I have to update that. My apologies. Yeah, I think that's quite useful, but I personally don't. Okay, I'll probably get the answer on my iPads. So people can actually so I won't probably get told off by using Google Drive or something in this session. But okay, okay, Google Docs. Okay, okay. Okay, this is the example essay. Okay. I'm not going to go over an entire essay. However, I'll give you guys. So this is. Oh, I have only 5 minutes left. Oopsie. I wonder what happens when one of the things you probably won't let you do it, but it won't matter. I'll just go back to this anyways. So I'll just tell you. So let's look at the first way to approach an essay. This is so I should code you. This was so I could show you the layout of the platform. But in terms of the essay itself, so I'll give you guys a different question, which I wrote a 5A essay for. So do you guys want me to show you how a 5A introduction would look like? Okay, so this was a question that I've used with my own students myself. Okay, so this was the question. In science, there are no universal truths, just views of the world that have yet to be shown to be false. I believe this is from BMAT 2019. And Jeff. For sure. There we go. And the question is asking, explain what you think is meant by the statements. Let's just ignore the question that we're doing so far. I'm just trying to show you guys one of how I would write the perfect introduction. Argue that scientists, I won't be explaining most, I'll be explaining generally. Scientists need to accept some things as truths to advance their understanding. To what extent do you agree with the statements? So there are 3 questions here. I will be starting this. Oh, is it? Oh, there we go. Oh, I didn't realize. I was from the specimen paper. Never mind. I did not realize. Okay, so. Right, so. I had no clue. Just click off the chart. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, this is the question. Which I shouldn't have done this twice, but whatever. It's done, it's done. Okay, explain the statements. So this was my introduction. So this is how guys, so listen carefully. Everyone, please pay attention. Stop the chat. This was this introduction that I've used, and I've showed this to even my friends that are literally marked for Cambridge assessments. Some of them marked for it. And I asked, do you agree this is a 5A? And I said, this is more than a 5A. This hits every single point. So the statement suggests that associating, is this a way? Let me check. Yeah, there's an example. Associating science with the absolute truth is erroneous. So let's think about the first sentence here. First thing first. So this is the first thing that's considering. It's that it's suggesting that okay, so erroneous basically means it's wrong. It's like a fancy word, but at the same time, it kind of gives us a lot of. It shows you high level vocab. So this is how we get an A. It shows you high level vocab. It makes your essay more sophisticated and also more concise. So this will always give you a great score. Not always, but most of the time, it just shows high level thinking. And it's an indicator of a high level essay. Okay. Next part. So it is rather a view that is currently accepted due to observation. Said observations, so said observations change as technology progresses, which causes truth to change. So this is the first part of the introduction. Yeah, so I usually start with it because it's much more interesting to start like this. So I will start with explain what you think. If the asking is in this way, let's answer in this way. Let's not make our lives more complicated than it should be. So let's think about this. The statement suggests that associating science with the absolute truths is erroneous. It's basically saying that this is like a great for introduction. There's a second part which I'll expand on this. So the statement suggests that associating science with truth is erroneous. It means that it's wrong. It is rather a view that is currently accepted due to observation. So said observations change as technology progresses, which causes truth to change. So let's think about what I've done here, guys. So can you guys see how I've actually raised some ideas? I've said that, yes, I've done what he was asking. I explained the statement. However, I also brought in some new ideas. I was questioning it. What is truth? Doesn't make sense, guys. I was basically saying, okay, so I was saying actually truth changes. So I mean, what does this statement actually give, guys? Can you guys see how this makes you question what is truth? It brings in some new ideas. It makes you think. At least most people that I've worked with, most of them will start thinking when they see this. Don't worry about the timing. I don't care about the timing. I'll probably just save this. Control C, Control V. It doesn't matter. I've saved it. So this is like a really good introduction, and then I have a lot more. Doesn't matter what the timing is. What happens if I finish the test? I'll just do this in a Word document. I don't particularly care. There we go. You may now close this. Okay, I'm not very bothered. I'll just do it on Word now. It doesn't really matter to me. I'll do it on Word documents. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, can I guys see my screen on Words? Okay, great. So this is what it's asking. So it's explaining what you think is meant by the statement. So this part is basically rephrasing the question. It shows that you understood what it's saying. Because if you can rephrase something, chances are you get the gist of it. So it's always good to rephrase it. You or nearly always get the mark. You will get this. You will at least get 3A if you just rephrase this statement. You rephrase the statement, you get 3A. Pretty much. Assuming you do this as well. The next ones. But yeah, rephrasing is usually okay. There's more to this, but I'm just decided just to start with this. So the statement suggests that associating science with absolute truth is erroneous. It means that it's wrong. This is rather a view that is currently accepted due to observation. So basically, I'm saying actually science is means that truth changes because it's all about technology. If technology progresses, then truth changes. I always think of going for the evolution of the atom. I could have gone for Schrödinger's model. I could have gone for pretty much anything. But I just like to keep it nice and simple because you have to be concise. By the way, guys, it actually took me a couple of drafts to make this. So like, don't just think that, for example, won't be available here. There's just like I'm just kind of just showing you guys what a great introduction would look like. I have to check with other people just to make sure that it's okay if I post this. But yeah, as you guys can see here, this is what a great introduction would look like. It's short. It's like 3 lines. How many words is this? Let me just check. It's 35 words. However, it answers everything from the statements. It says what you think is meant by the statements. I'm just kidding. Can you see me? Some people are asking on the chat, so I'm just checking. Can people hear me? Okay. There we go. Okie dokie. So this was basically the biggest point here that I want to just highlight here. The rest can be done afterwards, but I'm not going to give a full-on essay walkthrough. For the second part, you have to think about. So this was the introduction. You basically give them a rephrased version of the statements, and maybe you want to try to expand on it. You want to give your own thoughts and opinions. Only do it if you have something useful to say. If it's like waffling, don't say anything. Okay, this is sorted. Then you'd be like, okay, argue that scientists need to accept something that's true to advance their understanding. This is the second part of the question. So in this part of the planning, I'll be like, okay, so let's start thinking of the pros for and against of these points. And I'm quite curious, what you guys think about this? Give me some for and against arguments. I have the whole thing here, but I want you guys to actually engage a little bit with this. Give me for and against. We need some information to work with. Okay. So for people trying to get into the WhatsApp group, I will be uploading the link again at 4 to 5 p.m. So please check back at 4 to 5 p.m. on the subreddits, as I'll be uploading new links. We were raided once, so I just had to reset the links because people were being very naughty. So apologies. Can you talk about things like gravity, helping other scientists move on? Yep, we can definitely go on about that. Okay. I'm happy with what I'm saying. So I'll just use some of the points that I've raised before I even started the session. In fact, this was actually a plan that I've made ages ago. Okay. Okay, let's just think about this. To science, there are no universal truths. By the way, guys, what terms here are ambiguous as well? Which terms here are ambiguous? Which terms do you think are like? Which terms do you think in the statement here? Which terms do you think are like very vague? Exactly. The universal truths. So before you even start this, just remember in the introduction. In the introduction, after you finish the introduction, you'll be defining what universal truths are. So universal truths equals a representation of reality which is applicable in all cases. So this is my own definition. This is not from Wikipedia or something. This is my own definition based on this essay. As you guys can see, it's very high level. It's very short but very like thoughtful. So the truth is what represents reality, what represents where we are. Why does this sound like Infinity War or something? Oh, the reality stone. Anyways, no, just some things I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so a representation of reality. And this, guys, remember in this essay, you have to think about getting a balanced essay. So it should be perfectly balanced, as all things should be. If there's something you have to think about for this essay, it's this. I can't really see the memes coming from my subreddits. After we finish, I can't really see the memes flooding in. But yeah, so basically, you make your arguments as balanced as possible. I know there's already having the laser eyes. I can really see it. The subreddit is I've really tested it many times. My exam, and this is my YouTube channel. It's beyond Martin, not Martin, Martin. So this is my YouTube channel. If you want to look at the new videos, it's over 60 hours of content I've sorted, and my subreddit. But anyways, just a quick plug. What does a question mean by accepting something as truths? Interesting. So I want you guys to actually think about this because some people don't understand it. Can you guys please explain this? What is the question asking it? Because some people don't exactly understand what this means, and it's completely fine because I'll be honest with you guys. So tutors give this impression, and let's be honest, who here has a tutor or had a tutor before or has done tutoring? Tutors give this impression that they could do any question, and I think that's not very realistic at all. Like students themselves, what they do is they struggle before the session, and then they will give this nice impression that they know everything while they're doing it because they already did that problem. I don't like to do that because I don't think it's realistic. I like to do it as we go because you guys can see what's realistic, even from a tutor, like someone that has experience. Even we would struggle a little bit. We'd have to think first because this is a very blank statement. So in science, there are universal truths. So let's think about, okay, universal truths. Okay, let's break this statement down. Okay, so let's define this. Universal truths equals a representation of reality which is applicable in all cases. Just views of the world have yet to be shown false. So essentially saying that, as I've said, it's a view which is considered to be correct based on observation. So guys, we have to think that yeah, there's no counter arguments, or it's the best theory that works. Okay, guys, I want you to think about something. what is truth to you guys? Yeah, sure, it's a representative of reality, but is truth just one thing, or is truth like a spectrum? I would argue that there's absolute truth, which is what science goes for. There's only one truth, whereas fluid truth, or just, well, let me just see what I actually wrote here, because okay, where is it? Where is absolute truth arguments? Yes, spectrum. So I'll say spectral truth. It sounds like some scientific thing by itself. Spectral truth. So essentially, it's like in a spectrum. There's not actually the way it's called. I don't know. These were just names that I've made up to teach people. Um, so you know, so universal truths is this is a universal truth, and the thing is we actually look at just truth itself. We're not looking at universal truth. Universal truth is basically so truth itself. We have to ask ourselves, what is truth? Is truth just absolute, or is it on a spectrum? Which one would science go for? So in science, you guys think that something can be ambiguous. So you guys think that we can say, oh, this is correct what it's, and this is not right, but this is correct based on what we have now. Most people will not say this in high school, for example. People assume that's correct until something else comes along and is worked better. That's literally what absolute truth is. They think it's correct until something else comes along. We don't like start doing philosophical debates about truth in science. Well, at least not in my school, and probably not in most schools, and probably not in most labs. Yeah. So the model of the atom, for example. Okay, so model. Yeah, it's pretty much the innocent until proven guilty type of logic. Correct. So model of truth equals a model, no, model of an atom. Oops. So Rutherford model, which then evolved to the recent Schrödinger's model. So basically, this was right until Schrödinger came along, and then it was like, oh, actually, this is not right. We have the wave function over x-axis plus. Just a fun fact. So for anyone here that is actually cares about this, so the current one is psi over x plus psi over y plus psi over z plus there's something else which I don't remember, and that's like the so psi is basically the wave function, and it's not psi from like Gagman style. It's not this psi that we're talking about. I'm talking about another psi. So psi from Jagman. Oops, sorry guys. I'll try to. I think I've just killed the joke. Oops. Okay, so psi. It's basically the wave function. It's actually a letter for it. If you go psi, you'll find a letter. Wave function, which shows the probability of an electron being at a certain coordinate per unit time. This is how I'd probably define it in the most complicated way possible. Trident symbol, yeah, pretty much. The Neptune symbol, some people would like to call it. So you can see it's very complicated, it's very weird. Whereas we started with just ball in the middle, and there's just smaller balls like flowing around the main one. So that's kind of how we kind of started and where we are now. So how it started versus how it's going, kind of scenario. So it's a lot more complicated. We could have used many other examples. Yeah, this example, because I love chemistry. This is so off topic for sure. It is. I'm just like showing some examples to people, but it's definitely very off topic. as I think that teaching is because guys, let me just say something. I'm not trying to just teach people how to pass an exam because most people will just learn something and then not have a clue what's going on, and then they'll not do as well. People that do better in these exams, calculate structure, perfect, love that as well. Let's be honest, guys. If you guys just learn something, what you're supposed to know, you probably won't be able to have a much more fluid essay structure. You guys will have a hard structure, and most people, let's be honest, you guys will probably get a 3A or a 3.5 if your points are good most of the time. I'm trying to teach you guys things off topic and on a tangent because you guys can see the thinking behind it. 3A is a good mark, but the higher the better, obviously. So yeah, I'm not here just to teach you how to pass an exam. I'm here to teach you what to look for and how to think, how to come up with those examples. So I'm coming up with random examples right now and just explaining why I came out with those examples. So it's all about the thinking aspect of here. It's not about the structures right now. So we have the screening module, but that's not relevant. Okay. And then spectrum because truth is a bit more obscure. It is right, but it is also wrong. However, it depends on to what extent truth is right. So, for example, let's say we have like this was incorrect, and then we have it's on section 3, incorrect, and this is correct. For example, in absolute truth, absolute truth would only look at these two. So absolute truth would be either it's right or not right. In spectral truth, however, we are like, okay, so we start here in science, we start here. It's mostly wrong. But then we get closer and closer to the actual truth. We get closer with technological improvements. So what I'm saying here, what I'm arguing in this essay is that truth is actually always changing. And we have to think about other types of truth. Everything is not true until it's proven wrong. Interesting. Yes, it's not true if it's proven wrong, then, is it? Because, for example, I remember Stephen Hawking made a theory about something, and then he was a bit mad that he found a counter argument, but then that meant that his truth was actually not the truth; it was incorrect. Exactly, you have to accept this truth, and that's what I'm arguing here. You have to argue this. So, Zara, you're actually completely right, and you get the exact point of the essay. You have to argue on these two. If you want to make a great essay for this, I will talk about absolute truth and spectral truth. On one hand, you have to accept it as truth to prove it wrong. However, on the other hand, let's be honest, this was one of the points that I've used myself. It's going to be available for sure. You just have to look at the 6MET channel, or you look at other ones as well. It will be. If you have any issues accessing it, you can also always message me on Reddit. So my name is BMAT Medic on Reddit. I am reach/BMAT Medic on Discord, and I'm Martin /m/BMAT Medic on WhatsApp. So you'll probably find me, and you can always ping me anywhere. And I'll probably send it to you if you can't find it. So no worries at all. If you can't find my YouTube channel, message me on WhatsApp. I'll send it to you if you want. But this is the YouTube channel. I'll just put it in the chat. That's it. If you want to find it, let me just get an actual link. But yeah, that's not the point of this chat. Okay, let's go back to this, to actually doing some work. So you can see, like, it's very dependent on your progress. And this truth to incorrect to correct is all reliant on technology. If technology improves, then we will get close to the truth. However, in order to progress, we need to work with what we've got. Science is all about working what we've got. And if you got this, I feel like they would have given you 5A just to appreciating this. This shows high-level thinking, because most people will not think of this. This is the kind of things that 5A person would have in their essays. They would think about, okay, they would, can you guys see how this is just high-level thinking? Who would have thought that science is, who would have thought about this for science? Let's be honest. Most people wouldn't. Can you all agree on this? He would have started asking what is truth in an essay for BMAT. Chances are most people won't. Yeah, so in order to tackle this question, you look at what's right and then what's wrong. Is the whole point of it. So I'll give you the structure now. So if you want to leave after the structure, then that's it. So introduction, rephrase statements, but expand on it if appropriate. So basically, if you have something to say, if you don't have anything to say, don't say anything. Go simple real life. Okay. Do not make data up. You will get a 0x. So please don't do it. Or at 1, if that would be nice. Okay, that's all. Yeah, so this is it. Then you know the truths. We start questioning what's a truth. So this is like the 5A kind of thinking. You would start thinking about what is truth in itself. And you start looking at different types of truths. This is all a draft, by the way. Incorrect to correct. So if technology improves, then we'll get to the truth. Then you get some examples. So examples, calculate structure for benzene, proven wrong later to the current model. Other models, so you can also move forward atomic model to the current. I can't spell his name. The guy's name is Schrödinger. There's also an thing on the accent, but I can't make it on this keyboard. Schrödinger's model. You can also talk about. Okay, guys. So I'll give you guys some further reading. So this is most people don't know about this, but within Morton's nitrous oxide discovery. So let me tell you something. So this is for the counter arguments. So counter arguments. So the counter argument for this is that scientific truths are not useful for understanding. So argue that scientists need to accept some things as truths to advance understanding. Now I'm going to argue against this. I'm going to provide a counter argument to this. Okay, counter arguments. So basically, if many theories are built upon a fundamental truth, there could be less incentive to disprove it. Can you guys see where I'm coming from? Let's be honest. If you've worked many hours in the day in your entire life to a theory, and someone just came along and said it's wrong, people would get offensive. They will get very defensive. And get probably offended. They will probably be a bit angry because they've spent so much time. So this is like the counter arguments, and I have a proof to show this. Yeah, they get very comfortable with the current truth. So this is very harmful for the progress. Okay, so let's keep going on this, shall we? Okay, so scientists might get defensive when presented with evidence, which disproves a theory used for their own work. Yeah, Pluto, for example, as a planet, great. Yeah, I would still write it down. If you have like 1 or 2 typos, it doesn't matter. If you have more, then it's, as long as people can understand what it's saying, then it's fine. I can see some very big brain things coming on the chat. So Euclid's fifth postulate. There's the there was this one of the only Millennium Prize which was given, like the Millennium Maths problem. I don't remember who solved it right now, but his thing was technically not always right. There's only works for a specific scenario, but this is not relevant. Anyways, okay, so nonetheless, okay, never mind. Not the spots. I'm not gonna use the spots. So an example of this includes the notion that during surgery we could not avoid pain. So before we had anesthesia, people thought that pain was essential, which makes me question if people enjoyed pain back then that means I have many similarities from today. But anyways, oh dear. Yeah. So we have this. So basically, pain was essential. That's what they're saying. No pain, no gain equals no gain. So yeah, basically do you guys have you guys seen those memes where it's like the kind of this? I'm trying not to use very like weird terminology here, but it's like some person being very whiny, and there's like the chat afterwards. So the whiny is like the current model where it's like people, oh, I need anesthesia. So the old model, the chat model, was basically people just hold him, start cussing it, no anesthesia. That's how it used to be. Very chatty, I can see. So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna start making memes because it helps me to learn this. But yeah, that is how you go about doing it. So very chat clearly. But yeah, so one example of no pain equals no gain was from William Morton's nitrous oxides. Yeah, the things that you have in gas canisters. Well, I think it's actually different. I think it's nitrous dioxide. I'm not sure. But yeah, actually, it might be nitrous oxides that they have on those metal canisters that people. There's always one when I go to London. Every time I go to London, there's always one of those silver canisters. It's mad, especially in Brixton. But yeah, the laughing gas thing. I always see those containers everywhere. Oh, the nitrous oxide. Oops, there we go. It's not it's close enough. Oopsie. Okay, do we need to reference scientists and theories when making a point? Yeah, you definitely need to, because it's literally the point of the passage. You don't have to, but it's very relevant to make it. Also, we are going for the counter arguments. So we are agreeing with counter arguments. We're doing this now. This is what we're doing. So we're not arguing this. We're actually going against this. Going against the statement now. That's what I'm doing. So essentially, so William Morton's the nitrous oxide discovery was referred to as humbug. So I actually recommend looking at this. It's very interesting. It's actually a very interesting video, and most people don't know about this, but it's very interesting. So basically, humbug was a term basically like it's fake, and if you were called this, he actually went to the Harvard. So I'll give you the entire backstory. So Will went to the Harvard Medical School to show that pain was not necessary. Most surgeons disagreed and resisted this idea for whatever reason. So essentially, you can use the pillars for sure, but the thing is, the pillars don't give you. I'll tell you why I don't like the pillars for this type of question. For others, you can talk about it, but for this one, this type of question is very philosophical. You would not be getting many marks if you use a pillar for this, because this shows high level thinking. If you want to get guys, you guys don't just want a 3A, right? I would assume most people want to get the highest possible. So you have to develop some different ways of thinking. So the four ethical pillars. So benevolence, justice, autonomy, and non-maleficence. Those are the four ethical pillars. There's actually more, by the way. So we have veracity, but these like there's also the behavioral ethical pillars. So if you guys want to look at those, there's a lot more to look into. People don't know about these pillars. People only know about these four, but there's actually a lot more pillars that you can look at. So veracity is just one of them. There's so many pillars for ethics, but people want to talk about four, which is very annoying personally. I love about knowing about the other ones. Sure. So it's autonomy, justice, benevolence, and non-maleficence. There's also the behavioral pillars, which are veracity, include veracity and others, which I don't remember exactly. Has been a while. Anyways, humbug. So that is not the point. I'm not going to explain the history behind the humbug. Okay. By other elite physicians due to a failure in the first experiments. Negativity and possible hostility brought by the scientific community could discourage others from pursuing the absolute truth. So can you guys see how this is like a very like this is a quite a strong example to show that actually this, can you see how this is a very strong counter argument, by the way, because it's giving us firstly this is original, so it shows you further reading. So this would be like my entire paragraph basically. So this is the entire counter arguments. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think it looks strong? I want to know your opinions. It is strong, as a matter of fact, but I want you guys to have a look at this. You can still get a good mark. It's all about how you argue. I'm just using a very interesting point here, because this is like I know some very high level examples, which most people won't know about. So I'll definitely show this off if I talk my tests, because let's be honest, they're not supposed to, but they'll probably get quite impressed if you can have something original. Because let's be honest, guys, how many times you guys think they have read? How many times have you guys think they have read the ethical pillars? So do no harm. How many times do you guys think? So there's about 16,000. So there are 16,000 candidates. I think there'll be 18,000 this year, but say about 18,000 essays that they've read. How many times do you guys think they've read the words "do no harm" in someone's essay? Probably most of them. They'll probably get bored after the first 5 essays. They'll get really bored. So if you get something that catches the reader's attention, you'll get a lot of bonus points. So being original, but please don't try to be originals like Pick Me, the kind of original, by the way. I'm talking about originals in like, this is not the philosophical question. There's not like any specific ones. This is like some, you'll not get bonus points per se, but you are more likely to get marked better. And I've tested this with some people. Like I actually have some. Okay, so I'll tell you guys an experiment that I've done. So as you guys said, I'm a tutor. So I have written 3 essays on the same type of question, and all of them had the same points. But one of them had generic examples. One of them had more obscure examples, and one of them had something like that was really cool. Guess which one scored the lowest? The one with the pillars, because everyone just talks about it. They've read that thousands of times. So it shows like it's some sort of 3, maybe 3.5A, maybe 4A if you're lucky. There's many of them. It doesn't, like, guys, there's no specific ones you should read. Like for some of them, for example. So who here knows about Ben Carlson or something? I think it's Carlson. He was a neurosurgeon for a couple of times. Now he's a US politician, but he was the first person that separated conjoined twins. So he knows about him. Carlson, yeah. He wrote Gifted Hands. So like, for example, in 2019, I used his example about surgeons. So for the surgeon example, I talked about Ben Carlson. I can't say his name. Oops. But yeah, essentially I used its example for my essay, and it's called really well because of this. Because it was very unique and it showed that I knew my stuff. So like, it doesn't read. There's nothing in particular you should read. I just recommend reading a lot. Like, it's all about like, the more you read, the more likely you can talk about something. Because if you can talk about anything, chances are you probably will be able to actually write about it as well. So in my case, I knew nothing about the skills of a surgeon, but I knew about Ben Carson. So I talked about how well, you don't. You just start looking what interests you. So, for example, do you like dermatology? Then start reading about dermatology. Look at how it started. Look at some honorable contributions. I really like dermatology. No, I really like neurosurgery myself. So I started looking at the father of neurosurgery. I talked a lot about how it started. So basically, it used to be barbers that were surgeons. They were the first surgeons. By the way, guys, do you guys know if you become surgeons in the UK, you will not be called doctor. You'll be called Mr. or Mrs. You will lose your doctor title. This is because of a tradition that started. So basically, it's Mr. or Miss, Mrs., whatever. So essentially, it started with barbers being the first surgeons because their hands were very steady. And then there were misses. They didn't hold medical degrees. So as a tradition, the Royal College of Surgeons revokes your doctor's title, so you can't use it. You're called by your Mr. or Mrs. or whatever. So if you want to impress a surgeon, call him by Mr. He probably won't appreciate it, but you're technically not wrong. Like I was with a surgeon once, and I called him Mr. McCarthy. He's like a surgeon here in Wales, and I called him Mr. Yeah, basically. So if you're a surgeon, you'll be called by Mr. If you're a man, Mrs., Miss, whatever the title. If you're not doctor, that would be correct. So like, there's just some sort of cool facts. Like, this is not reading free you're supposed to do on your BMAT, but it's stuff that I know, like cool random facts. And I'll just, yeah, you be as a doctor, but you'll not have the doctor title per se. Like it's like a technicality. You technically a doctor, but as you're a man of the Royal College of Surgeons, then you are like just you do that. It's more like tradition. No one actually cares about it nowadays. It's not like very strict. Like if you call yourself a doctor, no one's gonna go after you. Most people even call their surgeon by doctor. But it's like a tradition. So it's like a cool fact, and I've learned about it, and then I start talking about how Ben Carlson he required a lot of skill, and I made like an entire argument on it. So you don't really have to make original arguments, but it does help for sure, I would say. But some people make some amazing arguments with the basics. But the thing is, most people don't have enough practice, so I just recommend going on for some very interesting and thought-provoking examples. But anyways, what do you guys think about this counter arguments again? So can you guys see why I say it's a 5A? This is 5A. This is why I would say it's a 5A because, firstly, can you guys see how it has like a lot of. Okay, let's be honest. Realistically, how many people would think of this in their BMAT? So they have half an hour. How many people would actually think of this example? In US, how many people think of this? In your opinion, not many. And can you guys see how it's right? It shows like a lot of thinking. It shows high level things. So if you build something on truths, then people are not likely. They're likely to resist those truths. And in this case, it just shows that you actually thought a lot about this. It shows high level thinking. So the BMAT is called on the curve. So when you're setting the BMAT each year, as a tutor, are you contributing to our curves? Yes, I am. I do because, so the way I do it is I just make sure that my students get the best scores because so basically I teach them what people would learn. So, for example, he has gone to a BMAT course, or he uses any platform for the BMAT, any notes. And if you're my student, he can probably confirm. I think Laiba was here, along with other people, but I'm not sure anymore. So, oh, by the way, guys, Abdul Malik, bro, I would talk about it, but I'm not allowed. I got told off the other time. So, but that is a very bad choice. You know it, man. You know it. You know it. If I speak, I'm in trouble. But yeah, basically, so let me just show you. So, be my explanation of results for 2020. Well, they're not the ones that are good. The ones that I wrote some of them, but then I was like, screw this. Don't use it, please. It's not good. I have the question still that I wrote. Not hating, bro. It's just really bad. I hate people to. The thing is, like, if someone's good, I will say it's good. Like, I reward quality and someone that actually like really doesn't rip people off when helping people for the BMAT. Yeah, it's really bad. Not representative at all of quality. But yeah, just. But anyways, that's not the point. Okay, back to this. So basically, you know, some people will talk about how do I contribute to this curve. So I would say yes and no. It depends because most of the people that I work with in schools, they get these scores, and you can probably even confirm this. There's some of them on the WhatsApp thing. No, it's not plugging. I'm just explaining. So I always make sure that they get these scores. Most of my students actually go get these scores. So I'm only contributing to this boundary right here. I'm not really affecting anyone here. So unless you're applying for like Oxbridge, then you're not being affected by my tutoring, basically. Because like most of my students get about here. Most of them actually get 7s and above, but the minimum is like 6s. So yeah, I'm kind of making life harder for Oxbridge, but for anything else, not really. So it's just something that I want to talk about. Okay, so I actually talked to people about this. So there's nothing like, don't think this is a hard truth, guys. This is like some general rules of thumb. So this is for the BMAT schools. So come on. Okay, so BSMS. I would say Leeds is about here, give or take. Maybe like on the 4 to 5 area. Leeds. UCL this year was about here. Imperial was around here. These are like the schools I recommend for each uni, basically, to my students. This is like for guaranteed interviews. I'm talking about guaranteed interviews. And then Oxford. These are like my own data that I've collected, and based on my own data, I've collected this data for 3 years. This is the scores that would pretty much guarantee you an interview at each uni, give or take. If you look at their websites, it's just because people tend to have stronger GCSEs at Oxford, so you need like a high BMAT to compensate for that. Because if everyone has 10 A stars or 10 8s or 10 9s, then you need something to stand out from the crowds, and that's usually the BMATs. So 7s would pretty much guarantee an interview at Oxford, even as international. So yeah. Lower range for Oxford. I'd say the range, it depends on your GCSEs, but I'd say anywhere between like 5.7, maybe like 5.9. I would say this would be like the Ox range over here. For graduate medicine, it's a bit different, yes. It's a bit higher. Not by much, but it's a bit higher. So basically here, you'd be like for 13 to 14 A stars / A/9s /9s. Around here, you'd probably be looking at like 10. And around here, you'd be looking at like the 8. And basically here, you'd be looking at like anything below 7. 7 and below. So these I'll see these like the ranges. They will do both. They do both percentage and number of A stars. Yeah, you'll be able to access the recording for sure. Okay, so it depends on if you're doing IB and A levels, but IBs and A levels are not relevant for Oxfords. I'm talking about Oxbridge, Oxfords right now. Well, it doesn't. I'm just telling you, this is like the average. These are like not hard truths because there's also contextual as well. There's which I'm not taking into account. I'm taking into account like let's assume that you go to okay, I'm not going to mention schools because I don't want to get into that, but let's say you go to a really nice school, then you probably need a bit better of a BMAT. Like, let me just tell you something. So my friend got a 6.5 in the BMAT and he got rejected from Cambridge from St. Catherine's because his school's average was a lot higher. So essentially, he kind of got rejected for it. So with 6.5, you usually get into Cambridge for interview at the very least. Yeah, before interview, he got rejected because the school's average was really high for like GCSEs and BMATs. So it really depends on your school as well. So you have many medical applicants. So for example, let's say you go to Hills Road, Sixth Form College, or you go to Greenheads, or like Brampton Manor, or some. I'm talking about like some really top state schools. You probably need to try a bit harder. But or if you go to St. David's Catholic College and Cardiff High School. Oh, hi! I have many friends from there. It's a really cool school, isn't it? Yeah, but there's like loads of interesting. Yeah, the thing is, you guys get like Oxford mentors. I know how it works. I have friends from that school, so I know how it works. But you guys probably need a bit of a higher BMAT because of that. Because this year Brampton had I think around 50 Oxbridge offers. So you guys are in the media, so it's probably going to make your life a bit harder now because it's how it started with Eton and other schools. So the thing is, I'm just going to give you like a backstory to this. So I was talking to some I was talking with um, an Oxford admission sheet about this the other day, and we were actually discussing this. So basically, you know how widening access was prioritized to state schools, and I was asking him, okay, what about state schools that are performing better than private schools? And basically, he was saying that there's like this. They're starting to look into it now. On like, for example, not in terms of whether it's state or private, but more about how good your school actually is. Because for example, Brampton does better than most private schools of itself. It did better than Eton as well, like in Oxford Office. So it was very impressive. So now they're starting to clock it, if you know what I mean. They're starting to become a bit more pushy with that, and they're actually starting to make it a bit more difficult, let's just say. So, you guys, if you go to a great school, you'll probably have to do a bit better. If you go to an international school, they probably won't care because they care about your money. This is like very bold, but it's just the truth, though. If you're international students, you get those fees. You know how it is. So they'll probably be a bit more lenient. For example, you have a 6.8 or 7, they'll prefer you because you have like 4 times more fees or something. But obviously, they have the quota, so bear that in mind. But yeah, that is just like some very off topic that I want to talk about. Back to the essay. I didn't even give the essay structure. That's actually really bad. Oops. Okay, so this is like the counter arguments. So you'd have the same structure for the for and against. So this is the against. You have the same structure for the for, and then you use this one along with the other one to make a. By the way, this was a draft look like. So this is like a very solid draft. This should take you 5 minutes maximum. Don't do more than 5 unless you have like a lot of good stuff to think about and say. So the draft should take 5 minutes. Writing should take about 20 to 25 minutes. So people say 15 to 20 minutes of planning. I was just like, I just faced myself when I saw that. So like, please don't do 15 minutes of planning. Yeah, the limit is 550. It's going to end very soon. But yeah, guys. So I'm just going to. This is like the structure. So I'll give the structure, then I'll answer some questions, and then we are good for the day. So, introduction. Rephrase the statements and expand on it. And then you start with define any ambiguous terms. Argument for, arguments against, and then the conclusion where you'd kind of you'd use both of these to make a balanced argument. So this is like the structure 101. You can also the way you can structure argument is so if A then B, if B then C, therefore if A then C, and something like that, or if A then B, A therefore B. You can use these two structures to make your arguments, which is exactly how critical thinking would do it. And you can make some really high level and cogent arguments if you use these structures. Yeah, but it's all about it's pretty much all about this. These two structures I recommend to write arguments with these. So you use this to write this. But yeah, guys, so this is basically all that I had to talk about for the not title. Okay, so for example, so let me just give an example. So it was the argument that I've made for the scientists as well. Waiting for the cops car to go. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so let me just think of which one I should build. Okay, so if many theories are built upon a fundamental truth, there could be less incentive to disprove it. So can you see how this would be A? So if A, then B. If so, for example, okay, if negativity, it's still related to B. So if negativity and hostility, possible hostility, are brought by the scientific community, then scientists might be discouraged to progress. And so this is like the if A and B, and I can't even extend a bit on that. So it's not like a hard structure, because this is the to scientists getting defensive when presented with evidence which disproves a theory used for their own work. So oh, come on. Oops. I just realized that my laptop just decided to leave the meeting. But that's exactly how I want to structure it. So you can guys see exactly the structure. It ended straight away. My laptop just left the meeting for some reason. I think someone just stopped the meeting. I'm not sure. No clue what just happened. I'm not gone, guys. I'm still here. It just still have a meeting. The screen share just ended because I think someone just started the meeting or something. No, it's not yours. But yeah, that was the exact structure I was going to talk about. I know it's not working. It's just me right now, guys. So there's no more screen share because I can't join again. For some reason, it won't let me. Okay. But yeah, there was the structure in a nutshell. I was already planning to end, and I was going to do the Q&A. Yeah, but that was the structure for the conclusion as well. So can you guys see how I linked everything together? So I said, if this happens and this happens, if this happens and this happens, and therefore this is the case. So this is exactly how you show some really high level thinking. You're basically using the same structure for, critical thinking. So I think this helps you for both critical thinking and your essay. But that's just something that I want to talk about here. But yeah, guys, so this is all that's I want to talk about. Yeah, it's argument for and against, but use a different structure as well. Yeah, it applies for every single section 3 questions. The conclusion was the one that I just had. You probably have the recording, so you can pause it when we see it. However, essentially, what's happened? I'm not sure. The Zoom is doing very weird. Yeah, this is the last BMAT seminar, by the way, guys. So this is the last seminar that I'll be doing with 6 meds on the BMAT. However, I will be doing a lot of work on my YouTube channel for BMAT, interviews, UCAT, and personal statements. So if you guys want to check it out, then feel free to. I just wanted to thank people for being with, me like in these seminars. The YouTube channel has been sent many times. If someone can send it again, that'll be great because it's going to be very awkward for me to send this. That's the YouTube channel. But yeah, guys, that's the YouTube channel. Thank you, Red One. That's very helpful. I'll be publishing a lot of stuff. But yeah, guys, so the recordings are on the 6med website. So 6med.co.uk/QA-surgery. I haven't got any videos because they're all hidden, unlisted. So I'll be uploading them soon. Subscribe so you can actually there's no videos because I haven't unlisted them just yet. But yeah, guys, good luck. I'll give some final tips. For the BMATs, you need to have a great diet. So make sure that you have a great diet before you BMAT because healthy body equals healthy minds. Make sure that you don't go wild in preparation on the last day because you need your brain to have some rest as well. So sleep early. Day before the exam, do like 3 or 4 questions. So do one for each type. So do you want critical thinking? Do you want problem solving? Like do like one of each type, and then just kind of look at all your errors. Do some very light preparation. Don't do 7 hours. Do like 1-2 hours of reviewing everything you've done. Food in particular, I recommend. I know. So this is my own diet that I use. So I start eating a lot of salmon because it has. It's just like very nutritious. I recommend salmon. I recommend vegetables. Don't go for soul food. Don't go for fat breakfast, but like a healthy one. So get yogurt, get fruits, bananas in particular. Go for blueberries. Go for like loads of like basically healthy foods. Bread has a lot of carbs. I would recommend something a bit more like more of a keto diet, if that makes sense. Me personally, I found keto diets a lot more, so ketones. I find them a lot more useful before exams. I tend to do better when I have them. I'm not sure if it works for everyone, but for me myself, I tend to I tend to just go for the keto diet. It just helps. It works for me. So yeah. So keto diet is very useful. Also, make sure you have like, let's just Google nutritious foods for exams or nutritious foods for concentration. You'll find like a lot of good stuff on Google from like websites. The websites. So the recordings for this session will be uploaded on the 6med websites. If you want to look at my own videos, I'll be uploading them from next week. I'm trying to churn out as many videos as I possibly can, but uni is not being nice to me, as they've submitted more assignments right now. There are many repeating topics. But yeah, guys. So BMAT schools for Magdalen College. Which one? There's Magdalen for Cambridge. There's Magdalen. It's not. Some people call it Magdalene or Magdalen. but it's called modeling. Just fun fact. Okay, so for modeling, I would say it's like just sixes are fine, like low sixes. They're usually fine. Yeah, guys. So if you want, my opinion, you can if you want to ask me any questions, you can ask them on subreddits because I check the subreddits every 2 days, 1 to 2 days for new questions. So be my moderators. So if you have any questions on anything, you can always ask over there. You can ask me on WhatsApp because I check WhatsApp every day, every 2 hours, as well. So there's also something that I would check. I would definitely. I'll start on. It's not. It's not art. It's not BMAT. It's BMAT exam. I don't. I own the BMAT one as well, but I don't want to use it because the BMAT exam is bigger. We have 500 members. We also had 10,000 visits this month, guys. So over half of the BMAT candidates are using our subreddits. So if you want to be like them, I recommend using it as well. We have around 10,000 visits so far. It's mostly from whatdotheyknow.com. I memorized some rough rules for each college. Basically, it changes every year, but I know some guidance scores, basically like some rough scores. If you want to essentially look into like in actual detail, go to whatdotheyknow.com and look for medicine A100s, BMAT, Oxford or Cambridge or whatever, and you'd find a lot of good stuff. Freedom of information. Yeah. Nah, bro, try to do both. Get your section one scores up and get a math score on section two. Do both if you can. But yeah, guys. So in this case, I would like to wish you all of you good luck for the BMAT. I'll be. Can I send the WhatsApp group? See, I'm trying to see if I can find. Let me just try to send the link here. 1 second. For the group chat. But yeah, guys. I'm sorry if I overrun. I overrun by 1 hour basically. But I'm really happy with this because I'm really happy to help all of you guys. And I'm sorry that I don't have more time to answer questions, but I really have a uni event in like an hour as well, so I can't overrun for as much as I want to. By the way, guys, I'll just tell you a bit more about how I teach. Because I've tried different types of teaching. So for the last session, I tried to do a natural sciences paper unseen because you guys can see what it will look like for candidates because I keep getting 8s and 9s on my practice, and I teach the people to get 8s and 9s, and I use that paper so you guys can see exactly something realistic because most people would have covered that paper before it. But I think honesty is the best policy, especially with education. My philosophy is, if you're honest, if you're realistic, your students will do a lot better because they have realistic goals. You're not going to get full marks on the NSAA unless you're a genius. Those questions are for people who want to study chemistry, physics, biology, or even maths at university. So those are questions that are supposed to be hard. So try to give them a go. Don't be disheartened if you don't get a great score in them. Same as the TSA. TSA is for philosophy, economics, and others. More thought-provoking subjects. So like I've tried to be as helpful and as honest with you guys. If you guys have any more questions, you can always join this Discord, WhatsApp, anything. I'd like to wish everyone good luck again. Make sure you have a great diet. Make sure you watch all the sessions. If you want, you can ask questions. Be my exam. Make sure that you check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe if you guys want. I will also be doing interview work soon. I'm not sure if I will be with SexMed again for interviews. We're still talking about it. So if you guys want to just get in touch, you can always go on the subreddits. You can find the WhatsApp link. You can find this Discord. You can find anything. Yeah. So thank you for that. I hope that because I try to show you guys what different companies do in terms of like strategies. So I try to show you what everyone will learn and what. I don't tell you guys what I'm teaching, but I'm giving us an altered version of it, which is more helpful than what you guys are getting from courses, but not as helpful as people that like in my GPs, but hopefully still will help you guys. And I've heard some great messages on people improving. And guys, if you can just tell me how you did in your BMATs, let me know. I would love to know how you guys did in your BMATs. So if you want to just connect with me, you can just message me on WhatsApp as well if you'd like. which is, I'll just give it into international code. So it's +44 740 444 2615, and you can always mention WhatsApp. I can add you to the BMAT exam and to 6 med group chats if you want. You can always talk to me about any worries you have. Don't worry, I'm not gonna. Yeah, sure, I'll put on the chat. But this is for people with the recordings, which is +44 740 444 2615. But yeah. This is the one if you want to get in touch. I'll get the invite link. But you can always text me asking for the invite link. But yeah, guys. So that is the one. You can just copy and paste it. In terms of final advice that I have, make sure that you do all those papers. Don't do the BMAT papers, do the NSAA, do TSA, do anything else you can do. I don't recommend many official, not so most companies, and I'm not specific, I'm not going to say names, but most of them don't have many useful writers. Some of them are very unqualified. Let me just say something, guys. If people have a great score, or if they go to Oxbridge, doesn't mean that they're good teachers automatically. There are some of them, but don't get impressed by people telling you what university to go to. And that's why I never tell people my university. I want people to trust me for my advice, not for where I go. I don't want to be known as the medic from X uni. I want people to know me as the person that gives great advice, doesn't care about the uni. So you guys, be careful with like none of your resources are usually easier. And you know, don't get impressed by being tutored by a medic from X university. For interviews, it's useful. But for the BMAT is all about getting someone that knows the stuff. So you need to find someone that knows the stuff. You need to find someone that likes it and enjoys it and a good teacher, and someone that actually got a good score. So it's a combination of those three to get a good tutor. If you have more questions, then you can always look for it. And yeah, guys. So I have Universal Social in like an hour. So I'm going to end this webinar. Yeah, so there was some Year 12s that I've seen make. So yeah, guys, I've seen some Year 12s writing questions for question banks before. So I'll be very wary of books and question banks. Look who writes your questions, because most of the time they are not useful. I wish I could spill more tea, but that's all that I could possibly say. At least yeah. If you want more, you can always ask on the subreddits. Good luck, guys. Make sure you don't procrastinate. There's a bit over a week to go. By the way, please let me know how you're doing in your exam. I really want to know how you guys are doing. Like, I'm not just doing this to get some extra cash. I'm doing this because I want to see people doing well. So like, please let me know how you're doing your test. You can just text me saying, "Hey Martin, this was my BMAT score. This is how I found the BMAT." Like, you can always message me. I would love to hear about it. So you can always text me, let me know how you did. And there's more. So make sure you don't aim for number of questions. Aim for quality of questions. So, for example, if 30 questions, if you've learned the methods from 30 questions, it's better than 200 questions where you've just spammed them. Like, make sure that you get value out of those questions. Learn your section 2 knowledge guides. Know your essay structures. If you want, you can go to some courses. Be careful who's teaching you as well. Make sure that they know the stuff as well. If you want, you can always check out, 6med as well. You can go for the crash course. You can go for the tutors. You can pretty much do anything you want. I really hope that all of you do well, guys. If you want to prepare for content for section 3, just look at interview preparation. So the Charlie Gard case, Gillet's competence, the 4 ethical pillars. There's a lot more, but it's the same as interviews. Section 3 is basically interview preparation. So prepare for section 3 like you prepare for interviews. It's hard to recommend. I have a strategy for section 1. I have 60 hours of strategies. I could not even cover all of them if I wanted in surgeries. There's not enough time. I have 60 hours worth of strategies. Not even content, literally strategies. And I think people are still here from my group. They won't let me lie. They know it's literally just strategies. I am not sure. I'll see how to check them because most of them are from schools I work with. If that makes sense. Like, for example, I was hired by some schools in Surrey, one of them in Canada, to do BMAT work for them. So I'm doing mostly because I'll just tell you who I am. I'm a tutor. That I'm mostly corporation slash school tutor. So companies and schools will usually go for me instead of students. I do study students, but it's quite rare because I don't think I would rather help people as a blanket. Uh, so COVID could come up possibly, but I would not think. I don't think it would in a BMAT. I think it's very unlikely to the very least. Maybe vaccinations. That would be a very interesting one. Vaccinations and inequalities, access for sure. That's very interesting, but it's very unpredictable. But yeah, in terms of the surgery, I think that's all about it for me. I'm just going to answer some Q&A questions just to see if there's anything that hasn't been answered. My BMAT score was basically I've been okay. So it's really hard to explain this because of if you know from last year, people had technical issues with their BMATs. So I had 5 minutes taken off from section 1 and I had to skip 4 questions. So I got 28 of 72, which is a 6.8, but I would like to think I was a 9 student, mostly because I'm not even doing this year. I set the BMAT every year, by the way. So, if this is the boundaries being raised, I might have contributed to that, maybe. But yeah, I'm definitely at a 9 BMAT working zone for section 1. For section 2, I'd say is like an 8, and for section 3 is like a 5.8, 4 to 5.8. So yeah, I've been doing things for 3 years. Like I really love BMAT. I really despise the UCAT. I find the BMAT very fun. And I'm not sure if you guys can see, even through the sessions, I just have a lot of fun doing this. I just slip in some jokes. I'm very casual. I think the best option is always be casual with the students. It's very nice. And it just fosters some sort of professional friendship and banter. And it's just really nice. Breaks the ice. People get more engaged. So I just love it. But yeah. This is actually a very good question. So I scored in the top 5% in the BMATs. Would there be more? But I'm doing this year. So I'm aiming for 8s and 9s this year. As that's what I was going to get if I didn't get bodied by Cambridge assessments, technical issues. But my UCAT was actually very low. I actually got 500 in VR. And I got band 1 in SGT. So I don't remember the exact score for the other section, but they were a bit higher. They were 700s. But my VR was very bad. So was my abstract reasoning, I think. But the rest was pretty good. But yeah, guys, UCAT score does not predict BMAT score. Remember this. If you have 3,600, you're that one genius. Doesn't mean you will automatically get a great score in BMAT. There are totally different tests, totally different skill sets. BMAT values thinking, the UCAT values speed and accuracy. So different tests. I would agree. I prefer the BMATs over the UCATs. This is going to be my 3rd year doing okay, I have been tutoring since last year. So I'll just say a bit more about me. So I started tutoring last year. I tried it with some friends. So my friends were my first tutees. I did it for free, by the way. And I was just testing my strategies. All of them got 9s. One of them got 9, 8.4, 3.5A. Another one got 7.2, 7 point something, 3A, etc. They all. One person got 5A. So because some of them had technical issues, it was really annoying. But yeah, people got really high scores, so I decided to become an official tutor this year after doing BMAT for 2 years in a row. And now I quit the program, which was basically some sort of strategies, which is I just tried to make my own content of being just another BMAT course. So that's how I just started. And then I just became the tutor. I made a program which is 60 hours now. So that's where the recordings came from. If you look at it says BMAT program, that's from the recordings. We had 21 sessions, now it's 23 because I've made more. But there's like a lot of good stuff over there for sure. So I've done the BMAT 3 times, content this year, and then I've been teaching for 2 years, so I have a lot of experience for sure. Because I do BMAT and I do other things. I recommend speaking the first person. That's a very good something very nice to talk about. You should mostly talk in the third person when you're talking with academic essays. It's always better. It doesn't hurt talking in the third person. Talk in the past, ideally, if you want to do something. Third person in the past. If you want to know section 1 and section 2 strategies that are so the generic ones are on the surgeries. I can't give my actual strategies, like the ones that I would teach to most students, because they would not be fair on that, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to be reasonable, basically. I'm trying to help as much as I can help you guys. But at the same time, I'm not trying to screw my students over. So I'm being like, I'm having some sort of midway where I'm being reasonable. I'm trying to help as much as I can without actually annoying any people that are actually doing it. I don't see how you use first person in BMAT for section 3. I'd say maybe in my opinion, but it's about it. I feel like in the third person is always the best policy. It's more neutral. I prefer it, but this is a preference, and that's how I've been told to write it in my essays. Because I got told off for writing in the first person. Habits of high-stream students. They focus on strategies instead of content. So most people will be trying to learn. Okay, guys, and I've already said this in previous sessions. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be late. Okay. So most people, they usually go for this is what most clients would do. They'll go to a course, online course, or just a course. They'll do a couple of questions. They'll use a question bank or a book, and they'll go to BMATs. That's fine. The thing is, that's what most people do. Then they don't get a good score because either there was technical issues, or there was timing, or something along those lines. It's either people usually don't get full marks because either it's timing, or silly errors, or they don't know the content. There's 3 odds. If you don't know the timing, it's because you don't know strategies which help you to save time. Basically, it's all about timing. So if you're bad with timing, you don't have great strategies. If you can't even answer the questions, you don't know the contents. If you make silly errors, that means you're in a great. You just need practice. So most of my students actually fall within the practice area right now. Currently, one of my students, he's called me Ray, is a really nice lad. He was just talking about how he got 7s in both sections in past paper. I think it was 2016. Maybe I'm not sure. Was it 2018 or 2016? I'm not sure. But essentially, we focus more on strategies, and that's how they do so well. On those 60 hours, there was not a single hour where I taught people something, because I value people's time, and I feel like it's better if you focus more on strategies than rather just trying to teach them what the mitochondria is. Spoilers, it's the powerhouse of the cell. But yeah, those are some of the very nice habits that students have. They do 2 past papers per day. That's why I recommended them. I submit them a couple of work. They do questions that are harder than the actual tests. They have a great diet. They are very consistent. So we've actually been preparing since July for the BMATs. So we started in mid-July. So we've been doing work since then. That's when it started. Some of them were started later. They're catching up quite quickly. But they start early. They are very motivated. I say that those are some of the characteristics of high school students. And also, I am not really an advocate for tutoring and course itself, but I feel like the good thing about this is that if you get a tutor or go to a course, someone has done that research for you. You don't have to worry about figuring out methods for this section. Someone has done all that research for you. They know what works, what doesn't work, and what most candidates will do, the errors. So that person has been in your position. So this is why I say guides are amazing for the BM, because they can tell exactly what to do straight away. So you don't have to worry about that entire 2 weeks of learning and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Someone just goes over everything, which is why I say that. Yeah. So yeah, guys, that is all. I have to go now because I have a social. I overrun again, but I'll just like to remind people that I'm only supposed to do this for like until like 3:30 give or take. So I always overrun. But it's for my free time. However, I really appreciate this, and I really hope that you guys do well. So please let me know how you did be out. Like, I really want to know how everyone does. And yeah, guys. So can I just say I'm really proud of all of you for getting this far. I'm really proud of all of you. Like, I've seen some of you just like starting to get way better. Bonjour, tu parles français? Zoe. So yeah. Oh yeah, guys. Fun fact: I speak 5 languages. So just fun fact. So I speak Portuguese, Spanish, Russian, English, and Italian to some sort of fluency. So yeah, guys. So yeah, I already took a shot of my Russian skills. Oh, I love compost. Yeah, but that's about it. I don't speak Arabic. Well, at least not yet. I'm trying to improve my Russian pronunciation. So not yet. But yeah, guys. So in terms of strategies, that's all for today. That's all my final advice. Just make sure you don't slack off. Make sure you just keep going. And be careful with who your tutors are. Be careful what preparations you use. Make sure it's not wasting your time. Make sure it's efficient. Make sure people know what they're doing if you're getting help from someone. Ciao. Parlo un po' italiano. Okay, I am done for today. I am done. So thanks for all, guys. If you want, feel free to check the V channel. Feel free to check out 6meds. Feel free to check out the subreddits. That is all. I'm going to end it now. Goodbye, lads. Have a lovely afternoon. And if you have more questions, don't worry. I'm not going to ask people. I'm not going to charge people for some questions if they're quite short. So if you have any quick questions, you can all ask me on subreddits or on WhatsApp. I'll answer them for you. So goodbye. Let me know how the BMAT goes. I look forward to getting some updates from you guys. So hopefully it's not the end. Maybe I'll do interviews next for surgeries. Who knows? All right. Goodbye, guys. Good luck. Au revoir.